Hi everyone, delonewolf here, and welcome to ETH Talk, your weekly look at the markets in ETH Online. Now, in the previous ETH video, I did make a mistake when I was talking about the mining nerf, and I'm sorry about that. For some reason, the 180-second cycle of the strip miners was stuck in my head as an 18-minute to fully fill my machina, and yeah, that was just a mistake that made me think the nerf was like 20% or even more than that, when in fact the machina has only been nerfed by like 3% if you actually do the entire math. So yeah, sorry about that, my bad. I was like not in the right frame of mind when I saw the nerf to actually do all the math, and that was a little bit of a mistake. Secondly, Elite Dangerous, I just saw a video made by Zach about it, and I saw a few before about Elite Dangerous, but it has really flown under my radar. But yeah, Zach's video really made me interested in that game, and so I will read up about it, and I think it's got a lot of potential. It looks like it could be a lot of fun, and yeah, good job on that video there, Zach, because yeah, that really tingled my interest. It looks pretty damn interesting. But we are here for the market in ETH Online, so let's start as always with plex. I'm writing down 120 for that. 710 for the sellers, 722 for the buyers. That's actually a pullback and not a small one. Look at that, from 740 back down to 722. Of course, right now the speculation, and we won't get a clear answer on that anytime soon, I think, is has this been an intervention by CCP once again? This is pretty reminiscent of the pull up from 700 towards 740 again, where once prices reached that, CCP did an intervention, managing to stabilize the plex prices for, I would say, about a month or a little bit more than that. Over here we again have a serious pull up above 740, and here a pretty serious pull down. So it was maybe delayed a little bit, but I would personally not be surprised that this could be a CCP intervention here again. That's definitely, I think, something we need to figure out, or try to figure out. So I would like to get your comments down below. Do you think that this pullback, which is pretty damn sharp after another sharp rise of like more than 20 million, is due to CCP intervention, or is this just due to market forces where people are not willing to pony up 740 million ISK for plex? And I don't know, where would the increased supply come from all of a sudden? It's a little weird to me, but yeah, there we go. Serious pullback in plexes, and they're back in the 710 for the buy orders and 722 for the sell orders. So interesting. Let's move on to minerals then, at around 3 minutes. Tritanium is continuing its ascent. I mean, it's already breaking 620, I think, on the sellers. Yeah, 628 for the sellers, 619 for the buyers. So buyers are also still bidding up the price. Look at that. All of this is pretty damn recent. We're still getting 1.6 billion units of tritanium on the buy order side. More demand than supply. It's still here. So that's definitely a very nice chart. If I look at the 1 month chart, it's an unmistakable trend that it's going up, and we can definitely see the increased demand here as well, with those huge orders coming in, and this one is not even a day old. So yeah, it's still there. Let's have a look here at pyrite. 1205, 1197. So that one has been going down for the entire month, but I'm seeing over here a closing of the margin, 1197 to 1205. That's just 8 cents on 12 ISK. That's really a very small margin. You are seeing big demand coming in here as well. 125, 629, 121 million units. That's way more. The biggest sell order is 132. Then the other ones are all well below 100 million units. So I do think we're hitting bottom here. It won't go much below 12 ISK. I don't think sell orders will get below 12 ISK, and I do think that pyrite is going to start pulling back just due to the increased demand. Let's have a look at Mixalon then as well. What has that one been doing? Also pulling back. If I look at the 6 month chart, yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a pullback. Unexpected in my book. Still, it hit again 51 ISK. where it started at 44 ISK 6 months ago. Maybe this was again a barrier where the price was just too high and supply came in droves, and thus the price pulling back towards 49. Let's have a look at supply demand here. The price 48.99, 49.11. That's just a 0.12 ISK margin in between sellers and buyers on almost a 50 ISK product. That's nothing. That's one of the smallest margin I've ever seen on Mexalon. So I do think that this means that whoever is on the winning side, sellers or buyers, those will be determining the price for the next 2 days and weeks. And well, 93 million coming in here very recently at 49.11. That's a pretty big one. 150 million coming in here again at 48.98. So that's extremely close to one another. I mean, these two should have probably met each other. I think price wise we are also seeing again here 60 million coming in, but underneath that it's pretty much stable. So my guess would be yeah, a sideways movement in the upcoming days at around the 49 million price mark. I mean, just a little bit more than that supply is coming in, just a little bit below that demand is there in a pretty big way. So pretty interesting. That's a notification for downtime. Let's have a look at Isogen then. Finally, also up for the 6 months, but down for the month. So pretty interesting. It looks to me like supply is actually coming. Look at that here, indeed. 17 million units coming in. Still the demand here, 24 million coming in here at 129.18, and the supply is coming in at 133. So there is supply coming in, I think, for Isogen and Mexalon especially, which are driving the price back down, but supply is still very strong, and so it's really keeping the margins very close. The pullback in price is going to bounce on those buy orders that are still pretty massive in number, and thus I don't think we'll see like a full-scale correction, which is going to yeah, basically track back on the entire pull up in price that we've seen in the last 6 months here, going from 124 up to 138 and even a top at 140. So I don't think we'll see this huge pullback. The demand is definitely there for it, but because of the increase in prices, supply has been coming to the market as well, and some of them are starting to pull back. What are the factors that have really been increasing the price here? I said that it's a part of it is the nerf to the solo miners, and I think it's true for a very small part, but one comment was definitely right on the mark. The upcoming changes to reprocessing is going to nerf the yield of minerals quite significantly. That's in like 6 weeks times with the next release, and this is of course where the market is really reacting to. It's the industry changes, the changes to reprocessing, which should mean a much lower yield of minerals, and thus some problems in supply, but at the moment it's something that I've also said in some of the previous ETH talks. If the price rises too much, there will be people that have been stockpiling minerals in expectation of those industry changes that will actually dump their supplies on the market, just thus keeping the price from really making a straight upward trajectory. Some people are taking advantage of prices like 140 for Isogen, and then supply comes in, crashes back down a little bit, but the big demand is here as well, creating a floor for minerals. So it's pretty damn interesting. On the nullsec ones, let's have a look here. Megasite, yeah, has been going down for 6 months from 1640 to 1520. I would say here on the month as well, definitely a downward trend for Megasite. We're seeing the same in Zydran, I think, although it's not as pronounced, a little bit more sideways here if you look at 5-day moving average. And then Noxium, it's a little bit of an in-between one, which has also been moving sideways to down a little bit. I definitely think that we have the reverse trend in nullsec, where they will actually get potentially get better yields for their reprocessing, and I think that is also playing a factor in the reason why the nullsec minerals like Megasite, Zydran and Noxium have not gone up in price over the last 6 months, but instead have actually declined a little bit in price. If you look here, for instance, at Zuidrijn, started at 740, new spike at 760, and is now pretty much stable at the 690 mark. And if we go for Noxium, that one has actually gone up. It is, after all, still a high-sec mineral for some part. But yeah, now it's correcting back quite severely here. So would we see increased supply? Yeah, look at that, 4.7 million, 2.4 million, 1.2 million coming in at 737. So like I said, people see these much higher prices. They see still 737 ISK. They're saying, well, that's actually worth it for me to dump my stocks. Noxium is not going to stay above 740 for that much longer. And thus, yeah, we are seeing some dumping in stuff like Noxium. So yeah, it's a pretty interesting market, and it's been moving quite a lot with all the changes that have come and that are still to come. So I think it's going to be an interesting market to come as well. Let's have a look at the impact on Tech 1 chips then, 1050. Let's see here, the Drake, for instance, what has that one been doing over the last month? I think is the most important one. Pretty much sideways movement for the month, a little bit up, a little bit down, but nothing too drastic. Supply demand, here we're seeing a 22 buy order, 2014 here, a little bit more opportunistic below 45 million. Supply coming in at 48.5, 18 units. 49.5, 18 units again. As I've said, I think a lot of people have been producing a lot of Tech 1 stuff when they heard about all the industry changes, and so now supply will always be there to take advantage of any increase in price, and thus we are generally seeing pretty much a sideways movement. The Maelstrom here though, that one has been picking up. It's already reaching 210 million. The reason is of course that the supply just hasn't been there. Someone may have bought everything up, and yeah, that's why you're seeing this pretty limited sell order page, whereas the demand side, well, that one is definitely here as well. So this is usually a sign that someone has like bought an entire fleet of them, thus bumping up the price. It could be a manipulation as well, I think. But I do think we will actually see supply of Maelstrom starting to pick up, come back to the market here. Although I must say it's been going on for the entire month, so it has been pretty low for the market to actually respond with more supply for Maelstroms. I do think it's going to come though. Let's have a look at the Omen charts. That one has been moving sideways for a month, pretty clear at around 10.7 million mark. And here again we do see big demand sometimes, pretty opportunistically, but the supply response is here as well. That is definitely there for the Omens. Let's have a look at the Rock. That one, it also knew its jump up, but it already corrected back. If you look at the entire month, 204 million for a Rock, stable, and which is I think a normal price for rocks. So we will have to see, is demand picking back up, supply picking back up here. 216, well actually no, maybe someone just bought all of them or something like that, because that's still hanging around the 219 million mark, buyers at 200 million, so maybe people are just bringing rocks and willing to sell them for 200 million. It's actually not a bad price for a rock, and so maybe a lot of the supply has gone straight to the buy orders, pulling the price back down. I think it's a possibility. And then the Talos, again a very stable 1 month here, supply demand 16, 15, 34, 5, 10, so there is maybe even a little bit more supply than demand at the moment for the Taloses, so this could correct back a little bit, closer to the 73 million mark. I don't think it's out of the question, but overall the Tech 1 market feels well supplied, well balanced. Nobody is taking any drastic actions like dumping all of their stocks, because they are expecting an increase in price with the mineral changes. But people have enough supply ready that if any big prices jump in prices happen to any of the Tech 1 chips, they can actually move supply in very quickly to take advantage of that. So yeah, it's still looking like the Tech 1 chip market is just waiting for this industry changes before making up their mind. Let's have a look then at Tech 2 stuff. I'll write down 1425 for that. Just a quick look again at the trade opportunities. 6-month chart is a little bit better for that. Absolution is still in sell order territory, that's for sure. Astarte, same right here, although it is pulling back a little bit. So I think supply is coming here. Yeah, look at that, 23, 15 of them. That's definitely going to put a ceiling on the price. So that one is probably going to start correcting. Wait a little bit. You might see a sell opportunity at some point if the price decline enough. Claymore, I think it's close to a buying opportunity. Honestly, still hanging in the 205 to 10 million price mark. If you can pick them up on some buy orders at like 2.3, 2.4, below 2.5, I think you're doing a pretty good deal. This supply here of how many would that be, 65 units, something like that, will have to yeah, the market will have to go through this supply, which is pretty significant, but after that there is a chance for an uptick in Claymore. I would say this one is in buying opportunity range. The Damnation then definitely sell opportunity. I mean, it's at the 280 million mark after a really big jump mid-April to early May, so definitely try and sell those if you have them. The EOS, look at that. I mean, this is pretty damn huge, going from 275 to 80 up to a high of 335. That's a really big movement. Now it's already pulling back, I guess. Yeah, 323, 307. So it is pulling back towards the range right here in the middle of this upswing. So this is gonna correct pretty damn quickly, but your sell opportunity for EOS is over. Look at that though. That's a lot of money, potentially a jump of 60 million easy, just like that in a matter of weeks. That's a lot of trade money right there. The Guardian, oh, breaking 130, definitely buy opportunity in my opinion. You'll be able to pick up Guardians well below 130 if you look at the buy and sell orders here. Still some supply to go through, but honestly, one or two nullsec alliances deciding to go for an extra armor fleet with some Guardian support, and this could start taking off. So honestly, the Guardian, it's looking like to be in the right spot. Breaking that 130 is a pretty important thing, I think, and yeah, opportunities there, I think. Nighthawk still working on an uptrend here, so I wouldn't buy there just yet. Sleipnir just breaking 230. Honestly, I'd like to see it break 225, be closer to 220. So I don't know, it's still a little bit early. There is still a good amount of supply of Sleipnirs. Buyers are not there either, so at still, I don't know, it's a little bit dangerous, I think. And then the Vulture also working its way down from a serious uptick here from 250 to 340. Look at that. If that's not some nice example of trade opportunities in Tech 2 markets, and I don't know what is. And honestly, the Guardian, I don't know, look at it. It could end up becoming self-fulfilling prophecy, of course, if everyone starts buying Guardians, but honestly, this breaking of 130 I think is pretty important. So I'm curious to see what the Guardian is gonna do in the next few weeks. Let's move on to the Tech 3 market then. 18 minutes. That one should still be oversupplied. The Legion coming back down to the 125 million mark, and here we go, 12, 24, 36, 23. A lot of supply coming back in. So it tried, you know, it really did try to go to 145, but once people saw those prices, massive supply coming right back in. The Loki here, same trend, tried to get to 140, didn't even make it, and is back down to 125. 22, 100 Lokis coming in at 126 million and 33. Oversupply is pretty damn obvious. Proteus here has been a little bit more stable still. It's also going back down towards 125, so we are still seeing 16 of them coming in at 127, 27 and 13, so 40 of them coming in at 129. Buyers are starting to decline here as well. So yeah, Proteus is also coming in line with Legion and Loki towards 125. And here the Tengu, it tried here as well, above 140, supply came in, had to drop back down to 130, and we're still seeing at 129, 29, 84, 45 and 40 Tengus being brought to the market. It's just an oversupply situation. The demand is not there. People are still producing them because what else is there to do in wormhole space? But yeah, they're just not getting a lot of money for those at the moment. And then finally, for the extra product, of course, I do have to try and take a look at the new Mordus ships. So I will write down 1930 for that. And yeah, let's have a look at what we're paying for a Garmer at the moment, which is the new Mordus frigate. 191 million for the buyers, 210 million for the sellers, and that even went down from 270. This is yeah, a little bit too high, honestly, at the moment. This should go down, but at the moment it's just flavor of the moment thing. If you have like an alliance behind you that is willing to put in the time to try and bring those Garmers to the market, or those new ships to the market, you always have really a big opportunity to make a lot of ISK early on. And we're seeing this here pretty clearly, I think. I don't believe that it's 200 million ISK in materials to build the Garmer. Let's have a look at the cruiser then. Faction cruiser, pirates, and this was the Ortrus. Whoa, almost $1 billion for a faction cruiser. That's just crazy. Compare that to a Cinnabal that's at 165 million at the most. This is still 6 times too much. So this is of course because it's flavored of the moment. 850 million for an Ortrus. You're probably selling them for 750 million easy at the moment. Probably 5 times more than what they're actually worth. And then let's have a look at the battleship finally. A little bit weird that they're under pirates, but okay. The Bargist 2 billion for the 2 billion for a Bargist on the supply side. Macariel is 750 million, and Nestor is 1.5 billion. That's still a decently new one as well. Nightmare, all of them are less than $1 billion, so that's twice the normal price for a Bargist. This should all go down pretty significantly once the supply comes in. Honestly, I think also that this will be a bit faster than the Sisters of Eve stuff, just because you can actually get BPCs through other means, such as hunting for the rats in low sec. So yeah, if you want to make some money, go and try to find those rats, because these are prices that are, in my opinion, 2 to 6 times more than what you are going to have to pay in mineral costs at the moment to make them. So amazing stuff. If I look at the frigates, maybe also do a quick comparison here. So we had the Garmer at more than 200 million ISK, the Dremula is 50 million, the Daredevil is 60 million, so that's 4 times the normal price. And in fact it's the cruiser that's being hit the worst, because that one is still close to $1 billion. Let's see here, pirate faction Ortrus, yeah, 850 million for a faction cruiser. I mean, it looks great, don't get me wrong, but that's a little bit high in my opinion. Anyways, that's it for this Eve Talk, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Whoops, there goes my pen, and I'll see you all next time.